Hey guys, it's another sunny day here in Florida, and today what I wanted to talk to you guys about as I run errands, basically, I'm going to talk to you as I run errands. We're going to talk about why Mustang owners crash their cars. Look, this is something that's been made fun of forever. They run into people, they're show-offs, they do stupid shit, and 9 times out of 10 they end up running into a crowd, driving into a wall, and trying to get insurance money out of it. So I'm going to try to explain why that is. Before that, I gotta grab a couple things. I haven't had a hat on in a while. Every time I go to the gym, it sweats and gets into my eyes. So this is a hat I got from Chris Arnold. He's on the Anything Coyote forum on Facebook. You can get him from him. Yeah, it's a plug. You know why? He's a bro. He helped a brother out many times, and that forum pretty much jump-started my mini career into automotive stuff. So if you want a hat like this with a Coyote logo, go to Chris Arnold, Facebook, Anything Coyote forum. Alright, so gotta grab a couple things. A camera holder, which is basically what I use to, take in-car video, so I don't, hold it up to my face. And I got a couple of things to ship out to people that ordered some stuff. This guy, I cannot wait to get this guy going, but that's for a whole nother day. So today I'm gonna drive this car because I want to get used to the bi-ply tires. I want to make sure everything is kosher. One thing I noticed last night though, it's kind of funny on these M&H front runners. It's been a common problem for these M&H front runners to do this little, delamination, splitting, whatever you call it. I'll go to the other side, which shows it a little better. Where is it? There it is. So right here, you'll start seeing M&H's start to kind of have this issue where the tire literally starts to come apart. Typically, I don't call out companies or anything like that when it comes to a negative, but this is a danger. This is a safety hazard. So if I were you guys, I would stay away from at least a 26-inch version of this. A lot of people say, hey, oh my god, you're running really low tire pressure. Actually, that is at 35 psi right there, and at 32 or anything lower, it really looks like it's bulging bad. So if I were you guys, I would not recommend the M&H front runners at all. I'd get a harder radial or a bias ply in the front, which I do have coming from Mickey Thompson. So I have seen some videos of people with a cold start. Other channels on YouTube, that's kind of funny. So I'm gonna see how the cold start is in this car because I honestly don't even document it. Put the windows down so you guys know that I'm not being douchey. So let's see what the cold start is like on E85 car return. Soft fuel system makes about 700 or so rear wheel horsepower. There's the cold start spark for about 15 seconds. Man, a cold start that doesn't fluctuate like crazy. What a fucking concept. All right, so let's talk about why Mustang owners crash their shit. Okay, so as a Mustang owner, as a newer Mustang owner, the first thing I noticed about these cars is they like to spin the tire for a long fucking time. Fox bodies, if you have 350 to 400 rear wheel horsepower on a Fox body, you could do a long sustained burnout almost in a straight line, and it's really controllable. Maybe it's because of the suspension geometry, maybe it's because of the wheelbase, whatever. These cars, for whatever reason, the moment I got into one and did a 1-2 power shift with traction control on, sucker was all over the place. Now I don't know if that's the design, the wheelbase, the way the rear end is set up, the configuration, who knows. But the fucker wasn't stable. It just wasn't stable. So if you hadn't been used to, long burnouts that you needed to control, and you get into one of these the first time, you're damn skippy you're gonna crash into shit because you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and it comes out of nowhere. Out of nowhere comes this holy whiplash effect that some people don't know how to correct, whatever, and they crash into things, people, and then you get the show-off effect. You leave a car show, cars and coffee, things like that, and then you want to show off for everyone, and you've never really done hard driving in your car. That's what gets caught. Now, I know why a lot of people tend to roll race these cars, because if you ever see them at the drag strip, it is straight up embarrassing. They put the windows up so you guys can actually hear me. So when you get a guy that gets these cars, typically people that purchase these cars for the first time are young kids. Young kids have typically had like a front-wheel drive Eclipse, a all-wheel drive Eclipse, or a Plymouth Laser, or something older like a Celica or something, and then they get into one of these because they're pretty cheap, or they finally get a job where they can swing it, and it's a whole different animal. When you're brought up in the Fox body and older vehicles where you've taken it to a pretty high level, you've done all the hooning you're going to do, and typically you know, you're gonna know what to expect and how to correct. Now, the roll racing, and the reason I think roll racing is really popular nowadays is because people don't know how to handle one of these cars from a dig. Even a regular rear-wheel drive Fox body, some of these guys just don't know how to handle from a dig because they're used to front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, okay? And you see it at the track. You guys go to the track and you see that shit all the time. You see them go to the water box, do a burnout in the water box, and then, you know, stop the burnout in the water box and drive out. Now they've carried a bunch of water to the starting line. So typically what you see in a test and tune night is a lot of, you know, a lot of streetcar warriors. They go to streetcar night and they go up there, and really that's when you're going to see a crash, and that's when you're going to see, you know, a lot. The most likely time you're going to see a crash at a track is when streetcar night is up, where everyone has their Pirelli P0s and their all seasons ready to, you know, run 14.5, or when the, you know, podunk grudge racers bring out their absolute junk and oil down the track almost every pass. So what I like to call them is our squids. They're squids. Same terminology people use with motorcycle riders that are newbies, squids, you know, guys that have helmets with mohawks on them and all that shit. Well, Mustang owners, there's a shitload of squids out there, you know? So they don't have the background and or the, you know, experience to actually handle a rear-wheel drive vehicle that loves to just spin like crazy. So they're the ones that you see running into people, running into the wall, doing stupid things at the track, launching really high RPMs, and it's a matter of just lack of experience. Obviously that's obvious. Okay, everyone knows it's a lack of experience. But instead of, you know, getting on it for the first time ever at a track, why don't you do some hooning on the street and kind of get used to the car before you go to the track? Some people buy it and the next day they go to the track. Corvette owners are the same way. I dare say Corvette owners love to roll race, especially young and old, but the middle guys that seem to know what's going on, they don't do real stupid shit. But a young Corvette owner, I dare you catch him at a track and know what the fuck he's doing. Half of them don't even know shit. You know, half of them have an auto, but if they have a manual Corvette, they're the same. They're in the same category as a squid ass motherfucker that owns a Mustang. Okay, well, left handle. Boop. Now, I want to talk to you guys real quick about some fuel pumps. Now, a lot of these fuel pumps have 3 different grades and they have a common handle. Now, you got to understand what's going on inside the pump itself. If you're running 93 or anything like that, and you're going to just put a splash of gas in it for logging purposes, understand if the guys before you used 87, there is a decent amount of 87 in the line, inside the pump, and in the pickup. And you need to pump at least a couple of, maybe a gallon and a half before you start getting good fresh 93 if that's what you selected. So just be aware if you're going to do just a splash of gas for do some logging, and you know your tuner's telling you, hey, you know, your fuel's not up to snuff or anything. If the guy before you ran 87 and all this shit is full of 87, and then you just do about a gallon and a half or a gallon of 93, you're probably gonna have a mix of like 89 in there. Just a quick tip for you guys. Nice thing is I have a dedicated pump for E85, so I don't have those problems. There you go, filled up. Well, I was 5 gallons shy, so not bad. Now that the car's warmed up, let's record a warm start. Look at that. Yeah, the trim door is junk, the blend door, so it's clicking like crazy. But car starts right up. It's funny seeing some of these guys that a lot of people on YouTube kind of worship, and their cars run like absolute fucking garbage, and I'm just like, what the fuck? You know, I'm not gonna take you as an authority on anything if you start your car up and it fucking surging and bucking and doing all this bullshit. You know, talk to your tuner. Luckily I tuned this car myself. But man, when these guys go out there and show off their rides and the car starts like shit and runs like shit and people are like, oh my god, your car's awesome, I kind of chuckle a little bit. So I'm on those bias plies we talked about last time, and I'm telling you, I don't feel any sway. It's pretty darn stable. There are 18 PSI. I don't have 20-inch fronts. As you saw, I have cracked M&H's. So man, those tires are fine. A lot of people, oh my god, you should use tubes in them, and relax. It's not my fucking first rodeo. I know what the fuck I'm doing. But yeah, the bias plies run real good. They don't sway with front skinny, so buy them with confidence. A lot of diesels rolling coal around here. In case you're wondering, it's GT500 axle backs and stock manifolds. That's what I'm running for exhaust. So this is what the bias plies by Splies look like with 18 psi. As you can tell, they're a little different construction. You know, the tread area doesn't come out all the way to the edge like they do on drag radials. That's what they look like. And yeah, I'm one of those guys that parks nowhere near anyone else because I want to make sure no one scratches my car. I mean, the last thing I want on my car is any scratches or anything like that. You fucking motherfucker. Look, if you're gonna go to a track for the first time, get a sticky tire. That'll at least give you a little bit of a chance. If you've never experienced a rear-wheel drive car with over 400 horsepower in an S197 or an S550 platform, go hooning on the street where you're not gonna fucking take out a crowd and learn the car's mannerisms and how it's gonna react. Don't be stupid and show off for the first time in front of a crowd, because all you're doing is asking to become internet famous. Hopefully these tips and tricks help you guys for when it comes time to show off for the first time or drag race your car or do some burnouts. Do some practicing on the side where there's no crowds. Don't kill anybody, and don't be a fucking squid and run all-season tires at the drag strip. That's my advice. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you later.